Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis, and breaking scoreboards. Simone of the Olympics, defense and big business. The Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the three in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bell in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Okay, DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports. And this right here is just a quick segment, immediate reaction to Browns versus Chargers Week 5. Each team came in 3-1. At the end of it, the Chargers move on to go 4-1, and the Cleveland Browns fall to 3-2. The score 47-42. Browns led most of the game and then lost it in the second half. There were a lot of factors to this game that just didn't work in the Browns' favor. All right. Some of the calls by the officials that were called and weren't called were just egregiously misjudged. The Browns lost both starting corners, their fifth corner, and their starting right tackle, all in this game. They still managed to put up 42 points, but they lost them all in this game. The biggest thing that stood out to me in this game is Kevin Stefanski's play calling. Not just the plays he calls, because for the most part, for 80%, I'll give him to say 80%, he calls a very, very pretty good game. But that other 20%, he just picks the wrong times, in my opinion, to call some of the simplest plays. In this game, it showed that Kevin Stefanski doesn't have a lot of trust. Also, to me, it showed that we have to, stop pointing the finger at Joe Woods, Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, and we have to start pointing the finger at the man in charge, and that's Kevin Stefanski. Now, understand, I am not calling for nobody's job. I'm going to be on record and saying that the Browns are in no position to be moving any piece just because, all right? The Browns organization, the ownership needs to show loyalty, all right? You have a team. It is well put together and well structured. We just have to have a lot more faith and more belief that the ship is going to get righted when it needs to be righted. And right now, we're just going through the growing pains, which is okay because growing pains happen. But the one thing that's consistent from last year to this year, all right, in all the wins and in all the losses, is this conservative play calling and lack of creativity or determination to get your playmakers in position to make plays for your team. Okay? David Njoku had 7 catches for 149 yards and a touchdown. Arguably or undoubtedly the best receiving game of his career. Odell Beckham had 3 targets for 2 catches, and 20 yards. Now, there was a play or two, because I didn't see the whole game through and through, so I got to go back and watch it. There was a play or two when I thought Odell Beckham should have got the ball from Baker Mayfield and he threw it to somebody else. But the fact that the offensive play caller, the offensive orchestrator, is not calling plays for Odell specifically is a glaring problem. All right? You run plays for Nick Chubb. You run plays for Kareem Hunt. You run plays for the tight ends. And you're not running any plays for your receivers. Baker has 2 touchdowns passing, 1 touchdown to receivers specifically, and that was to Rashard Higgins today. All right? Nobody else in the receiving corps has a receiving touchdown. So, this either further lets me know, okay, because there's way too many explosive players on this Browns offense for them not to be getting plays called for them. All right? For some reason, Mr. Stefanski thinks calling the play once is okay. You have to run variations of that play. All right? And then you need to know when to insert it as an audible or, a caveat in a sense. All right? If that fits. All right? And what I mean is the tight end screen is raw. Right? So am I thinking when both your right tackles went down and you wanted to go shotgun, I don't see no reason why you couldn't go shotgun with 2 tight ends in the backfield. Or at least 1 tight end and 1 running back. That way, you could chip on the line, and if ain't nobody open, you could break it down to a tight end screen. All right? I don't understand. When it comes to the trust factor, I don't think Baker has just open freedom to change the play at the line. And I don't think Baker Mayfield always agree with the play that's being called. I don't even agree with the play that's being called. So I can imagine what's going on for him on that field and them players. All right? A lot of plays get called for Chubb and Hunt. A lot of plays get called for the tight ends. You are not getting your receivers the ball and allowing them to make plays for you. You are not stressing to Baker Mayfield to throw these guys the ball. You're not. All right? And this is a coaching error. This is all about coaching. This has nothing to do with it. This is coaching and play calling. All right? Joe Woods back to this conservative defense. In all fairness to him, he is missing all 3 of his top cornerbacks. And he missing his 5th cornerback. So he was literally running with his nickel back and his 4th backup, his 5th backup, 6th backup defensive back. All right? This Browns team just let a golden opportunity slip away again. That's twice in 5 games you couldn't hold the lead. And it was the same thing last year where it was 2 or 3 games you could have won. Chiefs game, Dallas game, you did win. Pittsburgh game, you did win. But you allowing these teams to get new life. You're not beating these teams and then causing these teams to go on a losing streak because you not only physically beat them, but you psychologically beat them too. And until Mr. Stefanski gets that together, we are going to have a problem in Cleveland. So some of the things I want to point out. All right. Browns go into halftime up 20-13. They come out at the beginning of the third quarter and score. I didn't see that. I don't know how they scored, but when I look back at the game, it was 27-13. It was only like 12 minutes. It was still 12 minutes left in the third quarter. So something happened. I guess that's when Nick Chubb scored, I guess. All right. So this is what I don't understand, right? Your offense and defense and special teams are supposed to complement each other. So when we get a 14-point lead, why doesn't the defense get more aggressive? You're up 2 touchdowns. You have athletes all over the defense. Why are you not taking gambles and taking risks? Why? That is the whole, that's the whole gist of it. The offense gets you a comfortable lead, so even if you do make one mistake, you can still recover from it and you got a cushion because you got such a significant lead. You know what I'm saying? It could either take them 4 to 5 tries to try to get it, make up 14 points, or it could take them 2 tries. It all depends on how the defense plays. Once again, Denzel Ward went out. Greedy Williams, Greedy Williams, boy, that boy is nice, boy. I always said he could play a little free safety too. That boy, Greedy was out all last season with a shoulder sprain. And today, Greedy led the Browns in tackles. Now I understand Jadeveon didn't play. All right. Walker was just coming back. But, because, attitude reflects leadership. So, the fact that Kevin Stefanski, who was calling the offensive plays, isn't structuring, sections or portions of the playbook or the game plan that just specifically are built to get, your playmakers in position to make plays. All right. But that's now trickling down to the rest of the team because Joe Woods isn't doing it. All right. Myles Garrett had a sack. Don't get me wrong. Myles Garrett was getting pressure. Malik McDowell had a sack. He was getting pressure. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was all over the field. But you got a whole defense, bruh. You got players all over that defense that you could be using, and you're not using them, right? Just like Kevin Stefanski got all players all over that offense, and he's not using them. And we had to start pointing at the head coach. Now, again, I will stress this. I don't want anybody to be fired, let go, traded, none of that, because these are growing pains, all right? You got to work out the kinks, all right? But the kinks that need to be worked out, in my opinion, is Kevin Stefanski has to start specifically designing or game planning portions of the game where he just get his playmakers involved. If we're up a touchdown and the defense get us the ball back, that is a good time to just specifically go to a certain player multiple times. Now, he'll do this with Nick Chubb. He'll give Nick Chubb the ball 4 or 5 times in a row. He'll give Kareem Hunt the ball 3, 4 times in a row. Why don't you get Odell the ball 4 or 5 times in a row? Why don't you have 4 or 5 plays in a row where you give Felton and Schwartz the ball? Why aren't there 4 or 5 plays in a row where you go to Rashard Higgins or Donovan Peoples-Jones? Or just David Njoku and Austin Hooper? We got to stop trying to blame Baker for everything. Baker played a good game, right? But Odell Beckham had 3 targets, bro. That's inexcusable. Right? This man can run, throw, catch. And you're not using him? Like, the only common denominator between Baker and Odell is the coach calling the plays. So, Mr. Stefanski either needs to give up the play calling so he can help focus more on the whole team, or it would better benefit him if he started calling more plays for his playmakers. All right? You got all these different formations you can run different stuff out of. Some stuff could just be done at the line. All right? I can motion a guy and get Odell one-on-one specifically over there. Now, he one-on-one over here. If I got 4 receivers out here, I can run an out or a flag to one or fade to one. I can have one coming across. I can have one doing a down and in. And all that is going to take linebackers, safeties, and still give me my one-on-one over here. All right? Still give me my one-on-one over here. I really don't understand the play call. Like, we got the ball with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. We're up 1. And even though we're in our red zone, you're calling ridiculous amount of. And then he said something like, well, both our attackers was down. I ain't want to. Man, we're trying to win the game, bruh. Ain't nobody trying to hear, oh, I ain't want to with them. No. You got all these athletes on the field, on your team, on your roster. You got all these players down there who could play. All right? Don't get me wrong, man. We still 3-2. I doubt if the Ravens lose tomorrow, so the Ravens probably going to end up 4-1 and lead in the division. But, dude, like, all right, the Pittsburgh Steelers back in it now. Like, come on, bro. We should be 5-0. We should be going up against Arizona as the battle of the unbeatens. You know what I mean? And this is really just, it's disheartening. But it's still encouraging because we got a good team. A team has to put up 47 points to beat us. All right. A little reminiscent of the Monday night game last year we played against Baltimore, ended in the same score. Virtually kind of the same scenarios to end the game anyway. And tell me your thoughts. Tell me how you feel. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk. Subscribe, like, share.